I'm Rhaenyra Targaryen, and this is the WIRED Autocomplete Interview. God fucking help me. Is there a particular reason it's this large? How do you expect me to read this? Question number 1. Why did Rhaenyra marry her uncle? I'm not exactly sure what that question means. I think it is so important to have something in common with your partner. And for me with Daemon, that obviously is our bloodline, and that has made holidays easier, it's made family reunions much simpler. I do think Daemon would make a lovely king consort, and I look forward to the day he sits below me at the Iron Throne. Did Rhaenyra kill Jaris? I would absolutely not send killers into King's Landing for the head of Jaris Targaryen. If I were to do something like that, it would be for the head of Alicent Hightower, because she's a huge fucking c***, and I hate her. Next question, how old is Rhaenyra Targaryen? I mean, at this point, your guess is as good as mine. I have lost the plot. I mean, it's anywhere between what, like 31 and 38. Is Rhaenyra Targaryen evil? This is a great question. I consider myself a fairly benevolent ruler. I think that, I mean, I've made mistakes. I've recently made a mistake. I accidentally led about 40 to 50 of my potential blood relatives to their slaughter by dragon. But that was the dragon's fault more than it was my fault. And also, they were peasantry, so it's kind of like, take it or leave it. 2 of those peasants actually are now dragon riders, so at the end of the day, I think the good balances out the bad. Who has Rhaenyra been married to? Easy way to remember this one. There's the gay one, and then there's Daemon. And the gay one, Rhaenor, I really cherish the memories I had with him. I mean, he is the father to my boys, and I see so much of Rhaenor in my boys. I mean, it's remarkable when you really look at them and just see all of the shared similarities in facial features, skin tone. I mean, the face, the way that their face is and the features on their face, they kind of, they all have the same, they all have noses, they all have a nose and lips, eyes. Sometimes I look at Jaris and I swear I actually think it's Rhaenor. For one moment I go back in time. I say, what is he doing here? He's supposed to be dead. Yeah, I feel like in some ways Rhaenor is still with us, which is very sweet. It's a nice thing to see my boys carry out his legacy and to feel his presence around us, inside of us, like I used to feel him inside of me. All the time, constantly. He couldn't get off of me. Where is Rhaenyra's 3rd child? I've been asking a lot of people this question, actually. I'm not quite sure. He's at the age where independence starts to kick in. I mean, he's about 6 years old, so I think he's become quite self-sufficient. I think he spends some time with the dragons. I'm sure he's feeding the dragons and playing with the dragons. Why butt in? You know, let him be himself. Is Rhaenyra the rightful heir to the throne? My father was steadfast in defending my claim to the throne up until the day he died. And then, allegedly, in his last gasps of life, he tells Alicent Hightower, of all fucking people, he changes his mind. Aegon should be on the throne. Have you seen Aegon Targaryen, the fucking burnt chicken nugget? He should be on the throne before me. You know, who would believe anything out of Alicent Hightower's mouth? Show of hands, actually. Do you trust Alicent Hightower? Would you want to spend an evening with Alicent Hightower? Would you want to exchange stolen glances in a dimly lit hallway with Alicent Hightower? Would anyone in this room even want to go on a midnight stroll through a garden? A moonlit garden, the moon is shining from this way, and the perfume from the roses is coming from this way, and you're walking along trimmed hedges with Alicent Hightower. Would anyone in this room even enjoy that? Is that something that sounds remotely appealing to anyone in this room? Would you want to go home in a carriage together? And it's late spring in this one, so it's a little bit chilly, but you need that warmth from each other. And your pinky fingers brush against each other, and you look at each other in the eyes, and you have this moment where you think, should we do this thing, or is this risking it all, and is this crazy of us? And are you thinking what I'm thinking, or am I just being completely crazy and strange here? Or do you feel what I feel? Is this alchemy real? Is this in my head? Is this imaginary? Or are we actually about to do this thing? Is that something that anyone in this room would actually ever feel about Alicent Hightower? No, exactly. Is Rhaenyra gay? Are people actually thinking I'm homosexual? I have nothing wrong with the community. I've always been an ally. You can ask Rhaenyra. I've been a historic ally to the community. I've never seen myself a part of it. I've never considered that even for a brief moment. That's just a weird question to me. I'm straight, so let's put that in the past. It's dead and gone. Let's move on. Well, that was our last question. Thank you so much, Wired, for having me, and thank you for tuning in. You can find me across all platforms at Rhaenyra Targaryen, and you can find me very shortly on the Iron Throne. The gaffer over here, you have some pretty light hair. Would you be interested in riding a dragon? If you want to, you can meet me outside after this and we could arrange something.